Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now, from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. Dorothy's school is out.
Yes, it is.
Traffic is down.
Yes, it is.
And we get a chance to start the summer off kind of focusing on some businesses here in Moore County that we don't normally get a chance to do because we're always so caught up in events. But the story today is really a very interesting one. We have a couple of transplants here, David Casey and Mary Beth Casey, and they are the owners of Expedia Cruises of Pinehurst. And when people hear the name Expedia, don't they automatically think of travel?
Yes.
It's like when you hear the term Vaseline.
Yep.
Vaseline is a brand name. It's not a petroleum. I mean, everyone calls it, it's Vaseline. No, it's not. That's how good the branding is.
Yep.
And that's what's so cool about the name Expedia. Everybody who's online automatically puts the two together. We're going to talk about Expedia Cruises of Pinehurst, but I want to introduce David and Mary Beth. And we were talking a little bit before the show, and the word that I was looking for was, because you both have a vast background in advertising, you've traveled and lived in many different places. You wound up in Pinehurst. But what you've done is so important because you've taken all your experience and you have reinvented yourself, adding another chapter to the book, which we all agreed keeps us young and sharp, right, and vital. But the story goes back many years. You've lived in how many different places?
How many fingers do you have?
Yeah.
And toes.
Quite a few.
Quite a few.
But you bring an advertising background and a marketing and a hotel management background to Pinehurst.
We do.
How'd you select Pinehurst? Because you I think if I'm not mistaken, you've lived in Manhattan, you've lived in Florida, again, Connecticut, and here you are for how many years?
We're here
Yeah.
for almost 6. It'll be 6 in November.
Okay.
And that's actually an easy question to answer. When we lived in Connecticut, we lived in Guilford, Connecticut, tiny little
Yeah.
quintessential New England town on the shore.
Yeah.
We loved it there.
Yeah.
We sold that to go to Florida to open our business there. When we came up here to visit in 2015 to golf, we're both golfers, Pinehurst reminded us of Guilford.
Of New England.
And we said, we're going to move here someday.
That's what I said in 1979. So help me. 4 years after college, living in the Philadelphia area, I said, one day I'm going to live here. And I did it in 1999.
There you go. We're a few years after you.
A few years after you. But you don't look back with any regrets.
Not at all.
Oh, no.
So Expedia Cruises, the brainchild that you had, comes from a ton of experience in the field that puts you in a unique position because you can pivot, you can move, you can you know the business cold, and you're offering a service here in Pinehurst that I haven't seen around. Travel agencies sort of came and went with the internet and online. Remember, all these little towns had a travel agency? No more. I don't see them.
Very few.
They go in to
Coming
buy
back.
airline tickets. Coming back.
Yes.
Because why?
I think the simple answer is travel has gotten very complicated, especially in the cruise space. We are 85% cruise. We sell everything 85% cruise.
Okay.
Used to be simple to purchase an inside room, an ocean view, or a balcony or a suite. Now there's 20 categories of each of those. Pricing changes daily, some for one, not the other. There are thousands. I think we have 40,000 itineraries in our booking engine. Thousands of itineraries. All those are different prices, all different brands for some. It's gotten complicated and people don't feel as comfortable doing it themselves.
Right.
Most cruises are sold through travel agencies.
Yeah, and just to tag along with that, because that's
Dave.
extremely important, and that's one of the reasons that Expedia Group purchased cruise ship centers in 2007, because they realized that their consumers that were .com consumers were feeling uncomfortable spending $5, $10, $20, sometimes $50,000 on travel by just clicking. They wanted to talk to someone. They wanted to understand what that experience was going to be like. And not only that, they wanted to be able to count on someone if something occurred. So in 2007, that's when Expedia Group began to do their research, and in 2007 purchased what was Cruise Ship Centers and now is Expedia Cruises. Because of just what Mary Beth was saying, and that is they realized that consumers wanted more of a personal touch
Right.
with someone when they were spending that type of money.
Prior to that, people could go online and purchase their own airline tickets. It was a simple thing to
Still
do,
can.
and travel agencies had dissipated. But now there's a comeback.
There is.
I remember in the 90s, I lived in the Manhattan area. I was in the jewelry business. I had a showroom in Manhattan, and I used to go to Asia quite a bit. Well, we would plan a trip to Taiwan or Hong Kong, Korea, right to the travel agent. We would tell them when we want to leave, what airline we want, and the return, and we didn't do anything about it. Today, you go online and you go to Expedia.com. You don't go to the airlines anymore. You go to Expedia. I mean, that's what I do. And it's become, through osmosis, that's where you go to book airline tickets. And now what you're saying is it's the same thing with cruises. But they come for the personal touch.
It is.
Yeah.
And we get to share with them information and help them make a decision on a multiple of options. Whereas if you're doing it yourself, you don't get that same level of information. You look at one, then you have to retain all that and look at another.
Right.
And then you have to retain all that and look at another. We put the whole thing in front of them so they can make a choice what works for them.
You know, and what you say is one of the differentials working with us is relationships. Our success and our 60 some odd consultants that work with our business, our success is based on relationships.
Right.
Relationships between our vacation consultants and their clients. It's simple as that. You know, we don't discount. We don't do anything of that nature. So our clients look at us to some extent like they look at their other very important consultants, whether it be an attorney or a doctor. I mean, I'm not putting us necessarily on that level, but when you spend $20,000 or $30,000 or even $10,000, other than homes and your cars and things, that's a big investment.
Yeah.
And they want to know that they're speaking to professionals
Right.
who can give them authenticated information and know that they can count on that individual as providing that type of one-to-one service that they need.
Right. You had to do a demographic study of this area, and you had to know that Southern Moore County would be prime for this. Otherwise, people go to Raleigh, they go to Charlotte, but they want to do it here. And as we're growing, services are also growing to make this more of what they call a micropolitan. You ever hear that expression?
No, but I like
yes.
it.
Micropolitan area. All the charm of small towns, but in an area not unlike what Cary was 25 or 30 years ago. And it's growing here by leaps and bounds.
It is.
Yeah, when we did our research through a company called Environics and looked at psychographics and the obviously the demographics, beyond that, the psychographics of the individual around in Moore County. And Mary Beth, you might want to address it with one of the multi-generational and so forth that we found that were very prevalent in this area.
Not only are we lucky to have that level of parent and grandparent here that want to do traveling with their family.
Right.
But that is one of the fastest growing areas of travel that people want. First of all, families have kind of moved away from each other for the most part. Kids are getting jobs in other places, raising their families. So but sometimes once a year they all come together. They want to do it right and relaxing, and they want to enjoy themselves. So we help many of them plan, whether it's a cruise, a tour, or whatever, enjoy the whole family together.
The multi-generational aspect you talk about is also true in real estate.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
people-
yeah. Living together.
It's crazy.
And the other, which is a very important market for us, but also youthful families. And as we all know, there is an abundance of military here. I'm a veteran. I'm a Marine, very proud of it. I'm very proud that our company is woman-owned and veteran-owned, and that with all of the veterans, or I should say veterans and active duty, most importantly active duty, that they're looking also for what they can do for vacations with their family when they come back from deployment or just trying to get away. So we see that as also a very important market segment for us to penetrate as well and provide our services for.
Mary Beth, it doesn't hurt that you've traveled extensively in your life, and you've worked for Atlantis, Paradise Island, American Airlines, Continental Airlines, P&G, and Heinz, and Weight Watchers.
Weight Watchers is a division of Heinz, or was a division of Heinz.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep.
So, and you moved here from Weston, Florida. Is that where you were?
From Weston, yes. I didn't hear you say it yet, but I'll say it. We're actually called halfbacks here because we were living in Manhattan. We went to our home in Florida. We're living there, and now we're coming half back to where we were before.
No, I haven't heard that expression.
Yes, they called us. We're halfbacks.
But you know, the most interesting thing about the area is there are so many people here who are transplants,
Yep.
Not native Southerners.
Correct.
And I've got a brother who's coming here from Hackensack to play golf in a few weeks. Just that's where they all come, and they look around, and this area reminds people that New England charm or of the town they grew up in as
That's
kids, right?
Very much so for us.
Yeah.
Very much.
Okay, so your wife, I have to just say, she reeks of credibility, right? The way she speaks, you were right. Before you came, we were talking about you. It's like I can already tell you have like this wealth of knowledge and experience that I'm only seeing this much of it. But I have a feeling, I mean, if she were a basketball player, she'd play for the Harlem Globetrotters.
Or she played for the Knicks, I would think.
Oh, the Knicks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think she played for the Knicks.
But I mean, you've been, so you know what you're talking about. And one of the things I will ask you, when you plan a trip, a cruise, if it's there's so many people who post things on their bucket list. And you have groups of people who go together to do themed trips, right? That's a lot of pressure if something doesn't click, because they're coming in and they're giving you the responsibility.
That's right.
I get that, for putting it together. And sometimes people have a habit of projecting their frustration, even though they've given it up, their responsibility to you. Guess who they're going to come back and
Absolutely.
But what you charm them? What do you do?
Well, first of all, I think the most important thing, and you're absolutely right, time is the new currency. Right?
Yeah.
The
right.
time you have is precious, and we don't want to ever forget how precious that is. So the first thing that we do, and we train our consultants to do, is listen.
Right.
Before you start proposing, before you talk, before you say, this is it, what are you picking up on that are the cues from that family, that group, that couple, whatever it is, that they really want to be able to experience? Because not unlike hotels, cruise lines all have their own unique personality. They have their own deliverables. So you want to make sure you match up the right expectations with the right experience. And that's what we do.
Dave, no offense to you. Her credibility's up here. It's right up here.
I carry her luggage very well.
Do you?
Very well. I do.
I'm really very impressed. I already have confidence in you. I don't travel as much as I used to, but it is something that people need experts to help them navigate, is basically what you're saying.
Absolutely. And we don't ever say, aha, this is it, until they've really said. We're more like, navigating is a good word, and that's what we call it internally. It's more like we're making sure that they've heard what we think are the right options, and so now what they're choosing from is something that we know is going to be a good fit. And when they pick that good fit, they're the ones who should feel like they're they're celebrating, because that is something that they helped us uncover for them. So we like them to think of them choosing the best.
David Casey and Mary Beth Casey are our guests. Expedia Cruises of Pinehurst is the conversation they're having today for the entire hour. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to All Things Moore County. We're speaking with Mary Beth Casey and David Casey. They are the owners of Expedia Cruises of Pinehurst, and they bring obviously a wealth of knowledge to the travel industry, the cruise industry. Mary Beth, I asked you in the first set, I said, it's a lot of pressure on you when you are planning a trip for people, and you have to keep your fingers crossed they come back and they give you a good report, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
that happens every time.
Yep.
So my question to you is, can you tell me about one of the most meaningful, successful stories that made you realize that every day you're in this business, this is where you're supposed to be? Because of what you put together for people? Do you get a lot of feedback?
Always.
Always.
I guess I'll go to today, because just a couple hours ago, a family from here wanted to go to Disney World Land. It was a family of 10, and I put it all together for them, including how do I buy the Lightning Lane passes to go to the rides and everything. And I had a note on my desk. They got back yesterday. I try not to bug people for a day or two. I had a note on my desk, call client. And she came in with a gift bag and came to my office and said, unbelievable, everything was perfect, and the whole night, So that is the joy of doing what we do, when somebody says, I just spent 5 days, 6 days with my whole family. You put together the whole thing for us, and that happens a lot. And I just want to say thank you. And that's the joy our consultants get too. When a client goes on a trip anywhere and brings them back chocolate from Bruges to wherever they've gone, and brings them gifts because they want to say how much they appreciated what we do. And that's because we listen to what they want to do, and we make sure that heart and soul of the trip they're planning is experienced.
Yeah. And people, the more you listen, the more you'll obviously pick up.
That's it.
If you're too busy talking, you miss it.
So true.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to capture their soul.
Absolutely.
So some of the trips that you plan are exotic trips.
Yep.
Sell me on the broad spectrum of exotic places people are going from here.
Okay, so in the past couple of years, I've sent people to Antarctica to go see the penguins, go through Drake's Passage, which is one of the roughest sections of water you can go through. Came back just
and they would go
exhilarated.
There. Really?
Exhilarated.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm showing my bias. Okay.
We have clients that have gone to the Galapagos. There's an amazing cruise, and I can say the brand, right?
Yeah.
Celebrity.
Yeah.
Flora is a ship that was purposeful built to go to the Galapagos. It is very high end, and it is the experience of a lifetime. And I've had clients come back and say, if you don't tell every single one of your clients about this experience, they're missing a piece of life. And
so your knowledge is not only about the coordinating the bookings, but the ships.
For sure we know the ships.
Yeah.
Yes, and we have a lot of training partners, from each of the lines that make sure we understand not what we can find online, because we can find all the specs of the ships, but the differences. Why this one is better than that one? Why this brand? Why this ship? Why this location? Why this port we go into is better? And that's where it is different.
David?
I was just going to say, in reference to that, coming from the hotel industry, that I look at the cruise industry somewhat like the hotel industry from the standpoint, you have hotels such as a Holiday Inn Express all the way to a Mandarin Oriental or the St. Regis. And it's very much the same within the cruise industry. The level of service accommodations that you have within the cruise industry is somewhat reflective, such as Ritz-Carlton has their own cruise line now, for example. It's the same. So very much, as Mary Beth says, we listen first, understand what their experience is, what they're looking for. Where have they been before? Well, what hotels have they stayed in? Maybe they've never done a cruise before.
There's an expression in our business. I'm going to just tell you what it is because I think you share it. Buyers are liars. Not that they intentionally are lying. They'll come in and tell you A, but they wind up with B, or and maybe some are budget-minded. And does that put more pressure on you because, or do you have to go through all the differences between the A and the B and the C? No. Okay.
No, if somebody says, this is my budget, we'll make sure that the options we provide them are within that budget range. Absolutely.
And I might just add, we've talked about cruises. Mary Beth's already mentioned about 85% of our business is cruises. But it's also important that we do many other things, whether it's do golf groups to Scotland and Ireland, for example, or just recently I put together a trip for a father and his two adult sons. One's in Barcelona, one's in San Francisco. And from their doorstep back to their doorstep, we planned everything for them because the dad just didn't want anything to do with it. He didn't want the heavy loading. He wanted someone else to do it. So we planned a 10-day Italian trip with everything involved in it for them to enjoy with his sons. So we're way beyond just cruising. And even when we do book a cruise for someone, we really look at it as a door-to-door service. So it's not only the cruises, but what happens in the cruises. They go on excursions. Did they do a pre or post? What hotel? What airline they're going to fly? How are they getting from the airport to that hotel? So forth. So we are comprehensive. I really like to use the word almost like concierge service.
Yeah.
We do
Makes
everything for our clients to take that heavy load off of them so they can do one thing and enjoy what their experience is.
It's funny you mentioned the golf trip. A very good friend of mine from Atlanta, he got two foursomes together. They went through a travel concierge. They put together an 8-day trip. Very complicated to put together. It was like $4,300 a man. It covered all hotels. It covered their own bus, which took them from course to course, which, and these guys are not spring chickens, right? And they're in Ireland fighting the elements, the hills, the moguls, the wind. I have some videos. You couldn't even hear them speak. The wind was so bad. And, but they said, and then the culture. They also have a person that accompanied them the entire trip, almost like a valet, from place to place.
Drove them, I assume.
Yes.
Talked about the culture and what's different, and keeping the American, making sure they understood where they were.
Yep.
And they said it was the greatest thing they ever did, and it was worth every nickel,
Absolutely.
even though the conditions were not how we're spoiled here.
Yeah.
They were the natural conditions.
So you do golf trips as
Yeah,
well?
We do
and just for an
everything.
example,
We do
working with
everything.
an organization such as this, and not to say others can't, but one of the things that we have connections, obviously. For example, the most important connection when you're going to Scotland is what? Getting a tea time on the old course.
Right.
And we do that.
We have that.
We can get tea times, guaranteed tea times on the old course.
Really?
We have that for a group. I have a group that's going there next August, I believe. And we will be able to guarantee tea times for them on the old course. So it's important to understand that we're well beyond just the cruise industry. We can do most everything for travel.
Talk to me about your consultants. They're not physically here, are they?
Yes, they
They
are.
are here locally.
We have them everywhere. So one of the advantages of the way we are set up is your travel cruise desk, as we call it, is portable. If you've got a computer, you can do whatever you need to do wherever you need to be. We have consultants today in our office that are here in Pinehurst.
Okay.
Then we have consultants, because we no longer have our office in Florida,
Right.
that are all over, from Michigan, New York, Connecticut, Florida, Las Vegas. We have them everywhere because they've contracted with us. We support them, and they're our family. That's their work family.
I don't know if I'm going back in subjects, but
That's okay.
just to, we've been together in this business for 17 years.
Right.
And for us to make that decision to relocate our business here was a huge decision
Sure.
to move an existing, very successful business that had 50 or 60 consultants that were working for him to move to the Pinehurst area. So, we bring that experience, but most importantly, we bring those consultants, and they are the lifeblood of our business.
Absolutely.
They are the lifeblood. And Mary Beth and I only have our clients are our consultants. That's all we do is support our consultants so that they can support their clients. And we're very fortunate. We've been in this for 17 years. We have consultants that started with us the day that we opened our business that are still with us.
Wow.
And I'd say probably 50% of our consultants are 10 years with us
8, 10
or
years,
more.
a lot of them.
So we're very fortunate. And we lost a lot of consultants during COVID. We did, unfortunately, as many businesses did.
Right.
But the
Freaking-
vast majority of our consultants stayed with us during that time.
Yeah. With all the growth in Pinehurst, the USGA coming in, the Open, do you have people who reach out to you who are coming here rather than going somewhere else? Or is everything you do mostly outbound? Do you do golf packages for the Sandhills, for people coming from, New York, Columbus, Ohio, Boston?
We're certainly
we're available to
we're
do
certainly
that.
capable
Yeah.
of that, but it's not our focus
Yeah.
necessarily.
Okay.
But for an example, if we have a consultant that lives in Georgia, for example, and they have clients that we've kind of talked about golf they're looking at golf destinations, whether it's Pebble or wherever it may be, they will help them make that decision based on what their experience
Absolutely.
they want, their budget and so forth. And that certainly would include the Pinehurst area because
For sure.
Pinehurst is the cradle of American golf.
Right.
We know that.
Right. Do you guys play a lot of golf?
As much
Not
as
enough.
we can.
As much as you can squeeze out?
Lately, it hasn't been as much as we'd like. We've been focused on the business and not playing as much as we someday will.
I think you will. We're going to come back in the third set, talking all about Expedia Cruises of Pinehurst and the difference that your company is making in terms of offering even better services and more services in southern Moore County that we hadn't had previously. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the final set of All Things Moore County with David and Mary Beth Casey of Expedia Cruises of Pinehurst. You guys are based in Whispering Pines,
That's it.
over on Mill Creek Road.
That's it.
That whole new complex at 15, 20 years ago was just woods, and it's now grown. This whole area has grown.
Lots
So your timing is good. Your positioning is good. What do you tell people about the value of using Expedia travel services? Because what's in it for them?
It's actually a simple story. Expedia being the #1 global travel brand in the world has a unique power that we get to take advantage of. It has power in buying and negotiating contracts with suppliers. It has power in securing data and information that we get to use to help plan. It has power in seeing trends and defining the road ahead. Just as an aside, at our conference last year, we had the Senior VP of AI from Expedia Group speak at our conference. She had 200 people in her department 6 months ago. So we get the advantage of all that power of knowledge and planning, but our clients get the power of an individual, which brings down to a one-to-one relationship, service that we've listened to what that client is looking for, so we're repeating or finding solutions that meet what they've heard, and they're here. They're here. They're a phone call away. They're a come on in and sit down. Let's have a cup of coffee and talk about it.
Yeah.
So they get all the localness of us
Yeah.
with the global power of Expedia.
So the antithesis of coming to you and doing it in person would be some of the scams that are online where people can go and they think they're booking something and sending deposits. I'm sure that
Unfortunately, it has happened.
plagues you guys like it does our business.
I don't know if it plagues, but it's happened.
Okay.
And, we are the security blanket for many of our clients so that they know. We're very transparent. When somebody comes into our office and sits down, we turn our screen around so they can see all the pieces that we're researching and working on for them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the differentiators with us as well, and that is, we are a storefront. We have a center.
Yeah.
And we want people to come and visit us. We want them to sit down, have a cup of coffee, have some water, and talk about what they're looking for instead of sitting at their computer and just click, click, click. We want to create that relationship. And, it's so much easier for some agencies not to have storefronts, just to be completely virtual. But we
Online
see
only.
and we see the power of having that one-to-one, face-to-face, if you will, relationship with our clients.
Yep. You mentioned you've used the term suppliers a couple of times. Can you help me when you refer to suppliers, who are you referring to?
Anybody who has products that we purchase on our clients' behalf. It can be cruises, it can be tours, it can be travel insurance, it can be flights, it can be anything that we use. It can be car services across the globe. Anything we use to make sure that point-to-point, that concierge service for our clients, we call those suppliers. It's kind of a mundane word, but that's what we call them. Suppliers.
They're to some extent our partners.
Partners. We also call them partners, yes.
Yeah.
So when you sit down and you chart out a trip for a group, maybe two, maybe more, is there a consulting fee that the people pay? I mean, how does that whole thing work? Because I'm the guy that goes online. I pick up a ticket from RDU to LaGuardia to go visit family and see Manhattan and come right home again. That's it. I don't even think twice about it. But how about the people that are coming in and you're doing all of this concierge level planning?
There is no consultative fee that we charge our clients.
Okay.
The way we get paid is through the partners we use to build that trip. They pay us for whatever we're purchasing from them. So we get a commission out of that product that we're buying or service.
Which is very important. That is no more than what the client could do on their own. So they don't. It's not marked up any bit more because we're the middle person,
That's
if you will.
good to know.
No, there is none of that.
But you said earlier that the biggest complaint that people have and to why Expedia Cruises is viable business is because people don't have the time to do all the orchestrating and coordinating, nor do they have the knowledge because they're going to miss things.
Yes, we know where to go to source whatever they're looking for. We also know where to go to evaluate the better options. Some things might be more expensive for a reason. Some things might be less expensive for a reason. So we want our clients to know what we think is the best option for them. We'll often show them both, but explain why this is more expensive and less, and have them help us sort through that.
So when you're sitting across the table from someone explaining all this, you don't have a book open or anything. You just know it. You just, boom, it comes
From
out of your mouth.
experience, we know where to go. We have a lot of partners we work with. So if we don't have at our fingertips an answer to a question, we go to either their site or pick up the phone and talk to them.
One of the we talked in between the sets. One of the biggest misunderstandings has to do with travel insurance and why it's so important. Travel insurance to me is if I don't take a flight, I get a refund or something. That's not what you're talking about.
No, not at all, Bill. Travel insurance, particularly for those individuals that are traveling overseas, for example.
Yeah.
Not that any travel, but particularly those that are traveling overseas, don't realize whether it's a cruise or a land, the vulnerability they have from a health standpoint if something occurs, whether it be illness or injury. Many people have the misconception that a particular credit card or a level within a credit card might protect them as far as travel insurance. Unfortunately, that's not accurate. So what occurs sometimes is that they will be traveling and they will have an injury, and the expenses can be catastrophic as it relates to savings and their cash value, if you will. All right. An example very easily, and that is, we have seen on cruises where people have had to be airlifted off of a cruise ship because they broke a leg or something of that nature. Other than that, it could be as serious or not as serious as a broken leg. Once that helicopter takes off from wherever, that's $60,000 unusually.
Right.
Just to start. So, the expenses can be catastrophic. We don't want to scare individuals. We just want to bring the reality of what can happen when they travel and the importance, whether you purchase it through us or others, to have travel insurance when you travel.
Okay. Makes sense. The layman's not going to understand that, nor will they know what carrier to go to, or do they do it online?
We have multiple suppliers, partners that we work with, that we can find a quote that's the best for you.
I'm sure you can. I don't doubt it. So through COVID, cruise ships had a bad rap. There were lots of things that had a bad rap during COVID, but today, our health concerns, standards of certain ships, does that become a conversation with any of your clients? Not as much as...
I would say since 2021, 22, when it was still in everybody's minds, we rarely get asked that question.
Really?
Rarely. It might pop up in the news now and then, and
Sure
somebody
does.
will come in and have a conversation, but I do not feel that it's an overwhelming fear of being on a cruise ship because you're going to be sick. We get people who say I might get seasickness, and that's another whole thing. And there's a lot of ability to control that, but it doesn't come up. And yes, it was a horrible time, but it has really dissipated for the most part. There was the hantavirus a couple of months ago that, yes, it was talked about, but we rarely get somebody walking in asking us about it.
One of the aspects of that is that, as Mary Beth, they had that virus recently. It was on one ship.
Yeah.
It was on one ship. Right. And at the same time, there was probably 500 or 600 ships on the water at the same time, with obviously nothing that was occurring to them. And I think Mary Beth, in a conversation that we had earlier, and that is the cruise lines today are probably the most sensitive.
And so sophisticated with their controls. Yeah, very sensitive. Health has always been a mandate for them because that's the way they've been oversighted from wherever they register their ships. But it's not been again, since the COVID period, it's not been something that we are wrestling with. We hear more about people coming in and saying, "What about airplanes?" And that's all I'll say about that.
Crazy. My best guess is your referral business is off the charts.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh my! I can't imagine.
And I will tell you that we have lots of data that we look at regularly for our business. We're about 50-50 repeat and new business, which is a very good place to be because we know, based on surveys we do for all of our clients when they go out, we take surveys and how do we do? What do you want to tell us that we need to know? We know that when we get to touch a new person, we have an exceptional ability to show our value to them, and they want to come back. As you know, our doors have only been open a few weeks here in Pinehurst, right? We already have a referral. We had a client come in last week. She bought something from us, and she told us that I forget if it's her sister or cousin or somebody might want to go. She even got on the phone. They said, no, those dates aren't going to work. Yesterday, she called us and the consultant who helped that. She goes, "Oh, we want to go with them. Can you just make sure we get that booked? You guys did a great job. She loves the price. Let's go." So that's what makes our business really successful.
I see people on social media all the time coming back from a trip that was planned, right, through a concierge service like yours, and they are singing the praises of the trip, and all of a sudden, the phone starts to ring
Yep.
because a very credible source said something very positive.
Yep.
It's
Our
your best
senior-
report card.
The
Our,
best.
our senior vacation consultants that have been with us
yeah.
for 10, 9, 8, 12 years, probably 90% of their
Yes,
business
way up there.
is referral.
Yeah,
They don't
Yeah.
even want any
They don't even-
unknown new clients. They
Yes.
want just referrals.
yeah. Fascinating. You've thrown a great light on Expedia cruises and what goes on. But people, I bet, if they just come in, they may not be coming in to book a trip, but they may be coming in initially just to get a feel to
That's
see,
true.
right? Like shopping, window shopping. And then they decide to come back and they bring their spouse. Then lock the doors, they're
That's
here.
exactly how it works.
Is that right?
Yep, that is so true. Absolutely. Yeah.
So who is the? So is it the wife that is the instigator? My guess is it's yes.
I can't say always, but typically it is.
Yeah.
We also get, as a client who came back today from the trip I was telling you about,
Yeah.
they're celebrating their 50th anniversary next year, and she said, he's going to be calling you to plan the trip, and I like it that way. Great, terrific. So
Where can people reach you? Obviously, phone. You have a website.
Certainly.
How do you want them to get in touch with you?
Thank you. Well, we're located at 444
Uh-huh.
Mill Creek Road,
Yep.
Suite E. You'll see our sign,
Yeah.
just adjacent to the Harris Teeter there,
Yep.
and across the street from the county airport.
That's right.
Very convenient. Our website is expediacruises.com/Pinehurst.
It's important to put the /
Yes.
Pinehurst
It
in.
is. But the easiest way is to call us at 910-621-9700.
Yeah. You guys were delightful. I
Thank
mean,
you.
honestly delightful and spirited and energized, and people should take advantage of your presence and your expertise
for sure.
because it's self-evident to me, and I wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
It was
we
a
appreciate
pleasure.
it. This
Dave,
was
Thank you.
fun.
I enjoyed the
Lots of fun.
conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is All Things Moore County. Have a great week.